Russian forces have reportedly retreated from several front lines in Syria, but their presence in the country remains far from over. According to a detailed report by Reuters, Moscow is consolidating its military presence at two key strategic locations, the Mymym Air Base and the Tartus Naval Base. This comes as satellite imagery reveals heightened activity at these installations, showing Russian forces moving equipment, sparking speculation about a redeployment strategy rather than a full withdrawal. The images, analyzed by defense experts, depict military vehicles, cargo containers, and personnel operating at both bases. Observers believe that much of this equipment may be destined for Russia, as Moscow continues to grapple with resource demands stemming from its ongoing war in Ukraine. However, the retention of these two bases underscores the Kremlin's commitment to maintaining its foothold in the Middle East, even as it recalibrates its military priorities. The Mymym Air Base, located in Latakia province, serves as Russia's primary air power hub in Syria. It has been instrumental in supporting the Assad regime during critical phases of the Syrian conflict, allowing Russian aircraft to conduct strikes against opposition forces and extremist groups. Similarly, the Tartus Naval Base, situated on the Mediterranean coast, is Russia's sole naval installation outside the former Soviet Union. Its strategic importance lies in ensuring Moscow's access to warm water ports and bolstering its naval presence in the Mediterranean. Russia's involvement in Syria began in 2015, when it intervened militarily to prop up President Bashar al-Assad's government. The intervention marked a turning point in the Syrian civil war, enabling Assad's forces to reclaim significant territory and solidify control over key regions. Over the years, Russian airstrikes, intelligence, and logistical support have played a decisive role in shaping the course of the conflict. The two bases in question have been central to these operations, acting as launch points for military campaigns and as symbols of Moscow's broader ambitions in the region. Despite its retreat from some frontline positions, the decision to maintain Mymym and Tartus suggests that Russia is not abandoning its strategic interests in Syria. Analysts believe this move reflects a shift in strategy rather than a scaling down of influence. By consolidating its forces at these bases, Moscow can sustain a presence in the region while potentially reallocating resources to its more pressing military operations in Ukraine. Defense analyst Pavel Felgenhauer explained that Russia's decision to retain its bases in Syria is a clear indication that it views the region as a cornerstone of its geopolitical strategy. These bases serve as leverage points for Moscow to project power across the Middle East and the Mediterranean. At the same time, there is growing speculation that Russia's apparent drawdown from the front lines could have wider implications for the balance of power in Syria. With Russian troops pulling back, questions arise about who might fill the resulting vacuum. The Syrian regime, though bolstered by years of Russian support, faces challenges in maintaining control without the robust backing of Moscow's military presence. Meanwhile, other players, such as Iran and Turkey, could seek to expand their influence in the wake of Russia's repositioning. Iran, a long-standing ally of Damascus, has already increased its military footprint in Syria through its network of allied militias, including Hezbollah. Tehran's goal of solidifying a land corridor stretching from Iraq through Syria to Lebanon aligns with its broader regional objectives, and reduced Russian involvement could open new opportunities for Iranian expansion. Turkey, on the other hand, may also see an opening to advance its interests in northern Syria, where it has sought to establish a safe zone free of Kurdish forces affiliated with the PKK, which Ankara considers a terrorist organization. The United States is another critical player in this complex landscape. Washington maintains a limited military presence in northeastern Syria, working alongside the Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, to combat ISIS remnants. American officials will undoubtedly monitor Russia's actions closely, assessing how any shifts in Moscow's strategy might impact the fragile dynamics on the ground. The implications of Russia's reported equipment movements also extend beyond Syria. Experts suggest that some of the military hardware being transported from Mymym and Tartus could be redirected to bolster Russia's forces in Ukraine. The ongoing conflict there has placed immense strain on Russian resources, leading to increased reliance on personnel and equipment from other theaters of operation. If true, this redistribution of assets highlights the interconnected nature of Moscow's military engagements and the broader challenges it faces as it seeks to sustain its ambitions on multiple fronts. Meanwhile, Syrian civilians caught in the crossfire continue to bear the brunt of these geopolitical maneuvers. The conflict has displaced millions and left the country's infrastructure in ruins. As international powers vie for influence, the humanitarian crisis shows no signs of abating. The potential shifts in military control resulting from Russia's consolidation efforts could exacerbate existing vulnerabilities, particularly in areas where governance remains tenuous. For its part, the Kremlin has not officially commented on the reports of troop movements or equipment transfers. Russian state media has maintained a narrative of ongoing commitment to stabilizing Syria, emphasizing the success of its intervention in preserving the Assad government and combating terrorism. However, the silence regarding the satellite imagery and the broader implications of this activity suggests a deliberate effort to manage perceptions, both domestically and internationally. In the short term, the retention of Mimim and Tartus ensures that Russia remains a key player in Syria and the Middle East. These bases provide Moscow with strategic leverage, enabling it to influence regional developments and safeguard its interests in the Mediterranean. However, the longer-term implications of its apparent retreat from other positions remain uncertain, raising questions about whether this marks the beginning of a gradual realignment of Russian priorities or merely a tactical adjustment in response to immediate challenges. As the situation continues to evolve, the world watches closely, aware that even seemingly small changes in Syria's military dynamics can have far-reaching consequences. For now, the presence of Russian forces at Mimim and Tartus stands as a testament to Moscow's enduring, if recalibrated, commitment to its role in one of the most complex and volatile regions in modern geopolitics.